Welcome to another episode of Web Unpacked. Today we have a very interesting guest, Brian, who is a co-founder of Peakout, agency focused on B2B websites, and of course he's also using Webflow, so I think we're going to have a lot of good discussion topics. Brian got my attention in two ways. He created a super creative solution to offer personalized experiences for leads companies can get from conferences and share that process publicly, which I respect a lot when somebody does it. Also, his agency website is just perfect. I really like it. There's so much inspiration to draw from there, the structure, the messaging, the simplicity, etc. So for me, it was no-brainer that Brian should be part of the podcast so we can chat about all that. All that said, Brian, would you like to give a quick intro about yourself and then let's dive into the specific topics?
Sure. Hi, Margus. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited for this podcast, especially because you are the guy that is focused on the websites. I'm focused on the websites, so it's like two nerds that can talk about this.
There is a lot of common topics we probably can discuss.
Exactly. And I'm super happy to be here to talk a little bit about our approach for building websites, especially for B2B businesses. I know that you have a lot of expertise here. You are also focused on B2B websites in your job, so it will be amazing talk. So let's move on.
Cool. Maybe let's start with your agency, Peakout. Like, who is it for? What's the vision with this? Maybe you can give a quick overview.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So Peakout is quite new agency, and we are focused on building marketing websites, most for B2B tech companies. I don't mean only products and SaaS companies, because we also have clients that are creating software, so they are more like B2B tech service-oriented companies.
Okay.
But in most cases, like this is our audience. We feel very comfortable talking with B2B tech companies. We understand their needs. Also, with my co-founder, we also been created software in the past, so I think that we understand this niche. And we take the whole process, like the whole landscape, from brainstorming the website, building the website positioning, building the messaging, then going to design, then implementing infrastructure. Mm-hmm. By infrastructure, in most cases, I mean Webflow, because this is the CMS that we use daily. But there are new tools that we are exploring, like Framer, for example. So we start with building the foundation, then adding infrastructure, and by the end, if company is already ready for that, we can add growth around the website. And this is how we understand packaging website with different small puzzles, different small plugins. For example, adding AI on top of that, adding Clay, adding some kind of personalization. So in the nutshell, B2B websites for B2B marketing websites for tech teams, but by the end of the day, is the whole landscape of delivering this value. The website, in our opinion, is just the product that is created, and it should be used by marketing team, by sales team. It should be the asset. It shouldn't be any static asset that you just take the budget for, then you don't have any ROI. And when you talk with clients that are not so deep into metrics, they don't have a lot of traffic on their website. For example, they are not SaaS that you can buy for $20, $30. They have more complex and unique services. The window when you need to do the sale is a little bit longer than a website. Like you can squeeze out more from this website, and this is what we try to convince client that they can achieve.
Yeah. You already mentioned so many things which I want to unpack.
Sorry.
So, no, it's perfect. Like there's so many different sides that we can hopefully cover today. But you on your website, you also, if I'm correct, you mentioned websites are like revenue engines, not just brochures. Like, what does it actually mean in the practice? Like, how do you compare two websites which are just marketing assets, but there's nothing too special, and then you have the revenue engine websites? Like, what's the biggest difference you could say?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so from our point of view, we are super realistic regarding the business. Your business website won't have a lot of traffic, and when you will look for any tips when you want to boost your website, you will look for terms like how to boost your conversion, how to do something fancy with statistics, with analytics, and you will get a lot of You will get a lot of tips like, oh, you need to do A/B testing for your button. You will need to check if your button should be green or red. And there are plenty of those tips that are super interesting. And I know that they work, but in e-commerces, maybe in SaaS landscape, when you have the group, the audience, and just the metrics will be valuable for you, and this tests will be like statistically, they will be, you know, accurate. And when you and this is the one side of the equation, and not all of the businesses have this privilege to work on this data.
Yeah.
Then we understand that the website should be the asset, this growth engine that you can use, for example, in the sales process. So when you are doing some kind of outbound, you want to attract clients to your business, you invest in different channels, you do ads, you do outbound, you do events, and you are going to the potential client with some kind of, you know, some kind of information. What do you sell? What they can achieve with you? And then the potential client comes to your website, and in most cases there is totally different communication. There are totally different case studies. This is like static thing that we did in the past, and the most upset thing is that usually companies are growing, they are having better projects, they are delivering better things, and when you will go to the discovery call with person from sales team, they will prepare personalized deck for you. They will show case studies that are relevant to your industry, to your niche, to your company. And this is like a companies totally understand that, but then website is totally separate thing. And by growth engine, we understand creating the asset that can support this whole journey. So if you invest, for example, in outbound, your goal is to, in most cases, is to set the meeting. You know, hi, I'm you know, delivering this kind of thing. If this is something interesting for you, this is my booking link. And for example, instead of sending generic Calendly to like everybody, you can use website as the engine and, for example, create personalized booking link for each prospect that is interested. And for example, instead, you know, of just saying, oh, this is our Calendly, please take a look. This is the page that I prepared for you. On this page, you will find case studies that are relevant. I'm going to like do the best I can do before the call to build trust and to just make the potential conversion from this action, from this client acquiring channel, make this conversion higher. So this is like our mindset, to squeeze out more from these websites, not only regarding any fancy things, you know, like personalization based on IP or connecting, for example, MCP servers to Webflow. Like this is super cool, but like from marketing point of view, from operational point of view. But in most cases, we can take care of communication, of just thinking how we can, you know, use the website in the whole journey. Yeah. So that's the idea.
It's basically like making a website as an online salesperson, you know, who can help you and support and tell all of that story than usually the salespeople would tell during the call. But, you know, now we can leverage it even when you're not on the call, you're not controlling the narrative, but you can actually control it with the website and, you know, give all of the relevant content.
Perfect. Yeah, I totally love it. And especially in your space, when you work in SaaS, you can even take care of different data points in this journey, because you can have some chatbot, you can you know, like make this experience unique. You have, you know, 20-30 languages on your website, so you are, you know, doing very good things. And as you said, this website is going to be like your salesman that is working 24 hours, 7 days per week. I'm not saying that this website will close the deals, because in many cases, like in B2B services world, you need to go to the call, you need to provide a lot of touch points with value. But why don't use website as the very important piece of the equation?
It can already do like 70% of the job, and then you just have to close it, and that's it basically. Like also like what you mentioned at the beginning, that, you know, we can do the conversion optimization and, you know, make the testing on the buttons, but the things you are basically doing is like really foundational stuff. Like, you know, you can do all of the testing you want, but if the website is not functioning foundationally that well and not that strong, then, you know, what's the point of testing even? So yeah, I really like the approach you are taking, you know, because often you see with so many companies that the website is just something that got designed 5 years ago and now it's there, and maybe every 5 years they're going to redesign it. But, you know, it's not even about the design. Of course, design should look nice, but it's about how the website actually works and functions. So yeah, love what you're doing.
Thank you. It's much easier to build good website and focus on these fancy things if you already know who is your ICP, what do you sell, what is your offer, why these people are talking with you. And very often we do this small exercise when we start working with clients. We ask for a few pieces. For example, few materials like sales deck, presentation. If there is possibility, we also take transcripts from sales calls. And you have a few things that are like personalized for each prospect, and then we are comparing that with communication that is on website. And sometimes, like almost every time, the H1, the most important heading, the website structure, the case studies that are used are totally different word, like totally different thing. And we are not even talking about implementing good infrastructure. We are not talking about Webflow or Framer or custom build. We are not talking about creating content at scale. Like all of these things are later, but like how to use a website properly if we we didn't do our job. And this is the biggest problem, as you mentioned. Companies decide to do websites from one time for 2-3 years. And usually it's like this. Marketing team wants to have new website and they get the budget, they are asking for the budget for a while. Then they found agency, they do new website and everybody is happy for a moment. But in the process of creating website, there is no implementation from sales team and the marketing team. So and we know that marketing team is delivering different they have different KPIs that they need to accomplish. They are attracting marketing leads. And because of the lack of communication between sales and marketing in the process, salespeople don't understand that they can also use the website. For example, during the calls. And we had a bunch of examples for companies that are at the early stage. So, some startups that are looking for product market fit, for example. So good website, good landing page can be very good asset for demo calls. Instead of creating, presentations, they just share the screen and they are navigating the website, showing the journey. And then it's also a good thing for smaller companies that are looking for product market fit, because they need to ask about feedback. They need to have a lot of calls, and usually after a moment, they don't want to create those personalized decks because they don't have a time. And by the end of the day, this is just the presentation where is your company name, your logo, and nothing more. So then you can create the website that you can use on every sales call. So that's how you can squeeze it.
And the most ironic part here is that most of the cases that information is sitting there in the company. Sales team has those presentations, they know exactly what's the ICP, what they need, what kind of information they need, and it's sitting there, but it's not leveraged for the website. And like you also mentioned that marketing might use it, which is also fine. Brand might use it, but there are a bunch of other sales, of course, but even probably some other departments who could leverage the website for them. So, but oftentimes there's not that kind of system, and it's just a marketing website, and that's it. So.
And what about HR? What about careers? You can also build that to build the awareness. So that's how we try to fix this problem. And from our side, we need to do a lot of education, because in most cases we talk with marketing teams, and we need to ask them to bring different people to the table, because it's hard to get a lot of angles. Because in most cases there is no person like you in Pipedrive, the person that is responsible for the whole landscape and is the middleman between different departments.
Basically, the website is sitting in the middle of the company, and it should connect all of the different departments.
Exactly. That's why I like talking with you, because for you it's super super obvious thing.
Yeah. Cool. You already a little bit mentioned those personalized landing pages, and in the intro I mentioned the conference system you built. Maybe could you dive a little bit deeper into that, because I love that kind of programmatic ways, but where the idea came from, how was the process, how long did it even take to set up, and maybe just give a little bit background story of this project.
Sure. So just for the background, I was attending the first Clay conference. Clay is very interesting tool in the go-to-market space. I'm also community lead community lead in Poland and investor in Clay. So I'm quite close to this company, and they were having the first conference. It was called Sculpt. And just to let you know, like Clay has a lot of angles that they can cover when it comes to the tool. Like you can enrich information about leads, you can create content, you can do a lot of research. But in most cases, when you go to this example of conference, there are people that are doing lead gen. And they are doing outbound. They are providing some kind of services based on this positive ROI for the attracting leads. And those kind of agencies, in most cases, they are not my clients, but their clients might need our services. So my goal was to do everything that's possible to be remembered as, okay, this is this cool guy that is in our infrastructure. He understands Clay, but he also creates websites and he knows how to connect those two words. So, I wanted to be someone different, to be remembered in a different way. That's why I presented the case between the integration between Clay, which is like our content and engine system in this case, and we have Webflow, which is our system for creating a landing page. So idea was super simple. I just wanted to be remembered. I just wanted to be this cool guy for like that's doing websites. And when it comes to the system, to make it super straightforward, it works as creating blog post or creating case study in Webflow. You just need to design this page once. So you are sitting with your designer, creating some kind of Figma design, and you go to Webflow, you build it once, and you need to use CMS. So you need to define what kind of variables you are going to use. So in case of the blog post, you are having the blog post title, you are having the content, maybe you have some personalized, like some CTA for this blog post. But in this idea, I wanted to use variables like person's name, company logo. So it's like creating very good outbound message. Instead of saying like, hi, first name, you are having, hi, Margus, hi, John, and so on. So this is the logic. You build, like, first you need to define what do you want to build. You go to Webflow, you build it, and then in Webflow you have the CMS, and in Clay Clay can be your engine for enriching this information. So during the conference, I was talking with person, for example, I will talk with you, and by the end of the conversation, usually we will exchange LinkedIn URLs. And by having this LinkedIn URL, I can have plenty of data points about you. So when you will paste this URL, this LinkedIn URL to Clay, Clay can do the whole hard work. Clay can go to your LinkedIn, can enrich information, can find the company that you work in, can find logo of this company, can find colors of your company. So Clay can be this research guy. And what is super important is that Clay works like Excel regarding the UI. You have columns. And columns are also important for Webflow because every piece in CMS is different column.
It's basically like a database.
It's like a database, exactly, but you don't need to fill in this information manually. So when you have some kind of trigger, and trigger can be everything. It can be emoji on Slack, it can be it works like in every kind of automation that you use with N8N, with make.com. Trigger can be anything. In my case, it was sending, I created small app on Slack because Slack is very handy for me. Yeah. So I was pasting this URL. This URL was sent to Clay. Clay was doing research, and by the end of the research, there is integration between Clay and Webflow, but you can also use the normal API and HTTP request, and you are sending this data to Webflow, and you have personalized landing page. So 3 stages. Building this once in Webflow, doing the research, and then using that in the sales process. So by the end of the conversation, after a few minutes, I was sending follow-up on LinkedIn, hi Marcus, it was great to talk with you, and here is my booking link. And instead of, sending Calendly, it was peakout.com/scalt/ and the person's name. So this is one of the example how you can use Webflow at scale. You can do it programmatically, and you don't need to ask developer to create this Webflow this Webflow page every time, because as I mentioned, it's like a blog post. You're just adding a new items to your bucket to the CMS, and the CMS has a lot of variables, so you can work with that. So that's the idea. This is how I approach that, and I need to say that it was very positive when it comes to the outcome. In my case, I didn't want to sell. I wanted to have partnerships with those agencies. So I get a bunch of the calls because people remembered me. They booked the call, and and hopefully we will get like mutual deals. They are going to do good outbound. And if the client's website is not very good, we can create better website. So probably this outbound even will be better. Client will have better website. The communication will be better. So everybody is happy.
And you are in this podcast thanks to this system that you built. So
exactly.
I guess it worked. So, but another good example, like how companies could use their website as a business asset, not just a marketing asset. Like most of the companies are visiting a couple of events or conferences per year instead of just sharing their homepage. Why not to do that kind of things? And of course, then the sales could just use it. So yeah, so many opportunities for websites or companies to use their website on different creative ways. And same time, it's not that complex. It's not going to take months to build it out there.
Exactly. Because as I mentioned, you just build this page once. And then you don't even need developer to create those pages. So that's super cool. And especially when you will invest in different channels. For example, offline events are costly. Like usually you need to pay for the stand at the conference for some kind of tickets. So why don't prepare yourself to this and to try to use this website as something that can potentially bring higher conversion, and even it can make this wow effect. So when you need to understand that during the conference, during the event, your potential lead will talk with plenty of other competitors. So why not do something more?
And it's always the problem with events that you cannot really measure, how successful the event was. That's a good way to you can hear if you have a new client who came because they heard something about this, or you can see how many people are visiting those personalized landing pages. So yeah, really missed opportunity for many companies.
Yeah, I think so. And right now, when you will use good infrastructure, that's why we use Webflow, because they have very strong API. They have very strong CMS. Right now, even MCP server. So even you can, prompt to Claude or use different tools to work with this content, to, do things programmatically. Yeah. And it will be super hard to do it when you have custom build. And I know that custom builds can be very helpful in many cases when you have very specific data structure, very specific website. But in most cases, when you have smaller website, you can just pay for Webflow, pay $23 per month, and you have all of these different features that are not visible at the first sight. But when someone explains to you, okay, this is not just the CMS, of course you will get control of their website, you can edit content, but also they have super strong API. Let's think how we can use it. So that's why we try to talk with our clients that infrastructure is very important, but we need to understand how they will use website, how they want to operate, and
oftentimes it's also probably you need to educate them how they could use it, because they might not even think about that kind of functionality or options that they could have with their website, because they're just used with their static website and that's it.
That's true. And also I want to mention in this point that when you talk with marketing team, they, in most cases right now, they understand Webflow. They checked some other websites, they checked the UI, and this part is covered. A few years ago, you needed to
it was
educate.
More difficult.
Exactly, but still there is a lot of opportunity to educate this sales part of the team. That's why I love to talk with marketing and salespeople, because salespeople already are just connecting the dots. Oh, we are going to events. I'm going to have personalized landing. Oh, we are having outbound campaign. Oh, we are doing some kind of ads. Or, oh, maybe we will create some resource. Maybe we are going to create the ebook with marketing team. And then I'm going to create landing page for each prospect that I want to follow up. And instead of sending, oh, this is our ebook, I will send personalized landing page for this person. Please check the ebook. In this ebook, there are plenty of chapters, but those 2 chapters are most important for you. And salespeople, usually, because they are super close to clients, they understand their needs. So you can, take this knowledge from them. But you need to invite them to the conversation.
And it's always like marketing and sales, they're speaking a different language, you could say that, and you just need to approach them differently. And if you know how to do it, then you can make some magical things.
Exactly, but they need to be open. But they need to be open, 100%, and they because that's the biggest thing. But if you have someone, and this is also change that I see very often right now, there is someone responsible for growth, not only from marketing and not only from sales. There is someone from growth or someone responsible for go-to-market or other these fancy buzzwords, and I really like them. Especially I like this buzzword go-to-market, because go-to-market strategy is something, in my opinion, in the middle of sales, marketing, pricing, and someone that is responsible for that understands that we need to work on that with the whole company, not only marketing. And if marketing team will be responsible for website, okay, we are going to cover marketing goals, but it's easier to do it with the whole team.
Before we jump into the Webflow, I know that we already discussed it a bit, but is it common request from clients, even they proactively come and request that kind of functionality for the website, or it's more like you need to be proactive and pitch it and sell it?
We need to be proactive, 100%. And I know that we should be doing more things, like creating more content and explain that, because people don't know that there is this potential to use the same technology in this particular different ways, exactly. And I had a few clients that wanted to have personalized landing pages, but they or for example create something for the events, but they saw my LinkedIn post and it was like, oh, I saw it, it's interesting, let's see how we can use it. But there is plenty of work that you can do and you need to do regarding the education.
It seems that some educational work in general is needed, which is a good opportunity probably for you.
I think so. But when you talk with person, for example, responsible for go-to-market, and they are go-to-market engineers, and they know how to connect dots, for them this is something more common, because they know how to connect different tools, and by the definition, they know that you can squeeze out more from different tools when you will connect them. For example, connect your website with some tool that is going to tell you from what company are coming prospects, and then you can use it in outbound. So then it's a little bit easier, but you can still navigate people that, okay, are you going to events? Let's do something like this. Are you doing outbound? Let's do something like this.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Maybe let's discuss a little bit Webflow. Might be a little bit too technical for some listeners. Sorry about that, but I'm just keen to hear more about myself. I have also created a bunch of marketing websites, 20, 25, 30, whatever landing pages on the Webflow. But what changes basically when you start creating more of those pages on scale? Is any limitations, quirks, problems you're noticing with Webflow?
That's a super interesting question, because I think that the biggest Webflow limitation is not connected with the tool itself, but with the thing that Webflow is super open and give you a lot of possibilities. And I mean, it's super easy to go to Webflow and to build something in totally different way that previous developer did it. And when we are thinking about the scale, I think that this is the biggest limitation. Webflow gives you too many options to do something wrong. And with the scalability, the biggest problem is having clear system to build those websites, build those pages. So when you have smaller website, it actually doesn't matter if you use one framework or different framework.
There's
the
no
scale,
right and wrong in that sense.
Exactly, and the scale won't kill you. But if you will have, for example, 100 static pages, I'm not talking about CMS right now. And for example, simple thing, you are not using the utility class for having padding from the left and the right. So when we use client-first methodology, it's called padding global, and you have for example 5% from the left and from the right. And maybe there is a quick request from your design team. Hi guys, we want to have wider container, or we want to have our padding smaller. And then if you don't have utility class, you build it in a different way, you need to click through 50 pages, 100 pages and change it manually. But you can do it very easily when at the beginning you decided to focus on one framework, on one like class naming convention.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, the biggest like limitation, and I said, is not directly with connected with Webflow, is more like working with code and didn't have the foundation, didn't have proper documentation. But I see that this is a big problem, especially when one agency created a website, then you onboarded some designer or Webflow developer in-house, and this person like, okay, I don't understand the way that they created the website, but there's no problem to create a new CSS class in Webflow, because you do it in second and you overwrite some things. And then by the end of the 2 years when you have a website, it seems that there are 200 classes, CSS classes, that are loading on your website, and they are doing the same thing. For example, they are responsible for the same flex properties. I know that I'm talking a little bit technical now, but that's the problem. So having a solid foundation, and I mentioned client first for a few times right now, because this is the biggest framework in Webflow. This is the most popular one, created by one of the best and biggest agencies in the world, and this is like having framework when you're building apps. And in Webflow, they had this promise at the beginning that like this is no-code tool. Everybody can go to Webflow, can like build something, but by the end of the day, this is just the layer to HTML, to CSS. And if you don't have these foundations, you are going to have a big monster in Webflow, and it will be super hard to manage that. It will be super hard to use all of these cool features, and that's the limitation. That's the problem that I see.
Like if you really want to do it properly, it has a proper learning curve. Like yes, you can open it up tomorrow and start building, or you can take a template and just start tweaking. But to build it out properly. And I have seen the same thing, that some agencies or even freelancers, they might build out the website, but they don't think, into the future a little bit. Like what does this company need in 2 years, or like how, like another big issue I can see that we can build the website, but at the end customers are the ones who need to like maintain it, because you might not be around for them every month or every week. So find a way how can they like scale it, maintain it in a way that it's not going to break down, or it's not going to create a huge mess. That's always the tricky part, which is exactly, it's not the issue of Webflow, it's just issue of the culture around Webflow and how it's built out, and educational part. So that's the tricky part.
And understanding that this is professional tool, like
exactly.
As I mentioned, you need to have, I'm not saying that you need to be web developer and understand everything like perfectly. You need to have some kind of foundation, and especially when we are designer and you get this promise that I can go to Webflow and build something, and I don't have this foundation, of course you will create a good website. You can tweak it, you can you can work it around, but the foundation can be not so powerful. And as you mentioned, maybe right now you won't see this problem, but after a moment when you have 20-30 pages, it will be a mess. And the mess is very upset situation, because like the best thing there is to do the rebuild. And the rebuild is also like always pain for the agency that will do it, and for the company that needs to do it, because company in most cases, the company doesn't see the value because they are not inside. They are just taking for the word some kind of agency that did audit, and they said, okay, so guys, you need to trust us right now. Adding a new landing page take us 10 hours, and when we will do the cleanup, it will take 3 hours. But to do the cleanup, we need to have like 300, hours to clean all of this mess. And these are very hard conversations, because they need to pay for something. And in most cases, when you do the rebuild, you are not focused on design, because sometimes they are happy with the design, but the structure is bad. So even they don't see the results very, very quickly.
Yeah, for them nothing changes at the end.
Nothing changes. Maybe page speed will changes. Maybe a little bit SEO will be boosted, because by doing the rebuild, you will have a chance to correct some things in CMS, maybe page titles, meta descriptions. But I say that there are small things, but they need to pay for many hours of developer that will build the whole structure. So that's the problem. And when it comes to some kind of features, I don't feel that there are like some limitations for marketing teams, especially now when you have the localized, you have multi-language localization. CMS is very, very big. The bandwidth is very big. Of course, if you are like extremely big company, you have millions of views and like millions of views, and you will need something unique, probably that's how you can talk with Webflow about their enterprise plan, to have something specific, something unique. But in most cases, like generally speaking about B2B tech companies and like marketing websites itself, so I think that there are no like limitations, because CMS is okay. Of course, okay, this learning curve, but learning curve will be with any kind of tool. And of course, you need to remember that there is no way that you will maintain this website like independently in 100%. Of course,
you always need somebody at the end, to make some tweaks or edits, or like you need to make sure that company themselves can handle the content, can handle some new page creation, but there will always be something that somebody who knows the platform needs to handle.
Exactly, especially when you want to do something more. But you mentioned adding a new pages by marketing teams. I think that here Webflow is powerful because you have all of those components. And right now components even can have variants. So for example, you can have, like, you can, as developer, as the agency, you can build a section, and this section will have 3 variants, 3 different colors. And this is like building with Lego, building.
But again, it comes to this same topic that if you as an agency are thinking ahead that how, what company needs, in 6 months, in 12 months. So again, it kind of, comes to the expertise and seeing that, you need to build a strong structure, even though you could already build the one landing page today without having that component structure. But yeah, that separates, agencies with other agencies often.
That's why you need to do, very good discovery and talk about clients' needs that will be in the future. But also to don't say that components are always the best case, because sometimes like this company knows that they won't work on the website and they just need a few pages. So then I think that you shouldn't, take time for creating components, doing all of these things, because they won't use it right now. So project can be faster, you can iterate faster, deliver value faster. But right now, even with components, there were very cool update, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago in Webflow, because when you have some section or some component that you want to use in different places, you create a component, and right now Webflow automatically creates like different properties. So you don't need to connect, okay, this heading will be dynamic, this button will be dynamic. They can help you with building those components. So if you think about creating, like Lego puzzles for your client, then they are independent. They can drag and drop, create a new landing pages. And we have clients that are super independent. They just call us when they break something. And then we come, then we see the backup, because in Webflow you also have backups that are created automatically. And very often, sometimes, very often some small things can be issue. For example, someone changed some utility class, someone changed something that was globally attached to the website. But I think that Webflow is super, super cool. And I'm not talking it from the perspective, of the fanboy that's in this space since, 2021 as Webflow developer. I'm just thinking about these marketing people because I'm very close.
It's really powerful. Like, I think there's no argument here that it's one of the most powerful web tools today, which is always like, what I like about Webflow is that every week, every month, it's moving together with the industry, like all of the AI and all of, like, it's just adding and adding all of the new stuff. So you don't feel that, last 2 years there haven't been any changes with the platform as a Webflow. So I think that's the best part.
And by the way, did you have a chance to play around with this AI builder, this new feature? Yes.
I think it's already quite cool. Like, I was surprised because I remember I was using trying out the first version year ago or something like this. So it wasn't too impressive, but the current one already, it's quite impressive. Like, you can see that, it's already kind of building out a quite nice structure, some nice logic. Design was not that AI at all. So I was surprised. So I can see that, even some companies could start using themselves, to spin out, like, they know that they want to use Webflow, but maybe they don't want anybody else to build it out. So yeah, I see quite a lot of potential there.
Definitely. Also, I checked that when it comes to this builder, they also implemented the style guide. So this is something called Flow Kit, as I remember. So it probably is going to be a new framework, like client first, or something like that. Maybe client first or other. But it's going to be super scalable, because in the past I had this feeling that, like Webflow had their own way to build those components, and right now, if this is this is framework that will be documented in a proper way, you can start as the company, do it something on your own, wait, for example, for business traction, for having bigger budget, then you will go to the agency, and the agency will work on the same foundation because
they already know that same structure.
Exactly, and there will be this. There won't be this situation when you need to, like, bury this website and to build something totally new. You will have an opportunity to use developer and to add on the foundation. So that's very, very cool way. And also I saw that they are going to implement this GSAP interactions. I'm not sure if it works right now, but they can, like, with the AI builder, you can type, create some smooth, fade-in animation. And if you are not familiar with the Webflow UI, it's not so easy to do it, even with the GSAP builder.
It's still, there's still a learning curve for that.
Exactly, but when you want to prompt it, and you know that in the background there is solid foundation because there is GSAP, there will be, like, this is very solid, like, library for creating animations. So that's very unique because you see that there is this angle that if you are not technical person, you can do a lot of things, but in the background there are a lot of professional things, like very good animation library, maybe very good style guide, the foundation regarding HTML, CSS. So it's not like toy. Like, I don't say that Webflow is toy, and maybe that's the thing that should be educated, clearly, that this is not just the way to play around.
Yeah, I agree. But, like, do you see any potential alternatives also coming that you could potentially use? I know that you mentioned Framer, but, like, how do you feel, or, like, probably Webflow today is still top one for you, but do you see, like, something that might potentially change that?
So I think that there are two things. The biggest, and I don't say that they are competitors. I think that there are tools for companies at different stages. So on the one side, we cannot forget about vibe coding and doing all of these things. And of course, we know that the design is not perfect yet, but for the companies that are just starting, they want to build some MVP, they want to go to clients, they want to look a little bit more legit, they want to build a little bit more trust, they can vibe code something, and probably at the super beginnings, it will be enough because you are just looking for traction, you are talking with potential customers, you are doing research, market research. So then you can vibe code something, and you need to remember that this is temporary situation for websites. And then you have Framer. And Framer is very interesting because it's super focused on design. And I think that companies that they have right now, maybe not the perfect product market fit, but they understand what they want to present, what is the value, and they don't need to have very big website, like 20, 30, 40 pages. They just need to do something, but still they need to iterate quickly. So for example, today we are presenting our app in this way. Then after 2 weeks, we need to, tweak it. I think that Framer can be very, very helpful because you work only with Framer designer. You don't need to wait for developers. And of course, you know that this is a little bit different structure. Like you won't have, for now, API, MCP servers, the CMS is not so powerful.
But like who is using Framer, they probably even don't want that. Like they don't need it because they need these 10 pages which are like easy to control, nice visuals. You can edit them quite quickly. I would even say that Framer right now is what Webflow was planning to be in the beginning. Like they were also that, designer can just start creating websites. Today Webflow totally changed their target audience probably, but Framer probably saw that opportunity and just jump into that one.
Because it looks like Figma, because this is similar environment. For example, from my perspective, I was Webflow developer, for many years. Framer is not so obvious because I'm coming from a little bit like, this tech background. Same. So I'm opening and it's like Figma, like, okay, Figma is cool, but I'm not super, super deep into that. But I feel that there are the Framer is not going to be a big competitor to the Webflow. I just feel that they are going to cover different companies with different needs, and I see this. I think that will happen for 100% that companies will start with Framer, And if they will get the market traction, they are going to switch to Webflow because they will hire first person responsible for marketing, for growth. They will have content editors. They will have need different seats in around the website. So I think that they will do the switch. But before the Webflow, they can use Framer to iterate quickly, to have something that will be very, very beautiful because it's focused on design. So like interactions and all of these things, I believe that they are even better in Webflow, and not because of the platform, because of the fact that you work with designer, and designers are usually, having they are paying more attention to details, to these smooth things, and developers they are more 0 to 1. They are just building things. They are not focused on design. So Framer has plenty of opportunities to iterate quickly, and even having some hours by so you do the website, then you buy some package from agency to have their support for 100 hours, for example. So with Framer, you can iterate on the real website, and in the Webflow you need to do the design first, and then you need to do the development first. But when you will come to the scale, when you need to have 3 languages, you need to have a lot of case studies. You have case studies, testimonials, you have some resources, some ebooks, you need the CMS, and you don't want to pay to the agency that will care about that. You want to have your team inside. You will have this grow person that will understand, okay, we are having a new ebook. I'm going to create a form in HubSpot, and I want to take this HubSpot to Webflow, and I want to work on that. I think that Webflow will be perfect tool. So probably, maybe that's the hypothesis. I think that Webflow will be for a little bit bigger websites, and Framer will be for a little bit smaller websites. Yeah. And I'm not talking that the tools are the Webflow is not good for small websites, or the Framer is not good for big websites. I think that there is a different way how you use website as the marketing team, as the designers, as developers.
Depends what you need at the end as a company, and there's no
exactly.
right or wrong. And you as an agency, you can probably even support companies with both of the tools. Like you see that what they need, do they need more complicated setup? Do they just need a quick, nice design look, nice design for the website, and you can use also Framer. So yeah.
And also there is custom code and custom build, and if you will be at the scale that Webflow is not enough, you need to have more things connected with maybe not website but more like application vibe. So of course
Webflow has its own limitations at the end. It's powerful, but it's not perfect, and it cannot be perfect probably because it's still that kind of platform.
Even right now, they there is a way to connect Webflow with your GitHub, and you can have some apps, you can build those things, and that's super cool. But when you will need something totally different, totally different experience, so then there is custom code, and still you know how to use it. But you need to remember that it's good to ask and good to see what are the possibilities, because I see that right now everybody is focused on vibe coding and they know how to do all of these crazy things, and that's okay even if you will create a good website, but there will be probably problem when the first person responsible for marketing will come to the team, and this person will want to add a new landing page, will want to change a blog a little bit, and then this whole thing won't work. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
And it's probably also a matter of time where Webflow starts adding more that kind of prompt functionality, like you mentioned for a cheese app, but just hey, create me this page or make me those updates, so you don't even probably need to go and manually tweak stuff. You can just prompt those things. So I think Webflow is gonna definitely improve on that field also. So
yeah,
so you might start basically vibe coding inside of Webflow already. You can do it basically with the AI site builder already, but 100% they're going to improve that thing more and more.
And as you mentioned, you said that the design of this AI builder was quite decent,
it was
right?
Quite solid. I was at least surprised. Because usually you're used with those typical AI generated, same gradients, everything same. So it was quite different already. So
that might be also a good angle, because they Webflow can analyze millions of websites that are created on their engine, and know how to navigate this this LLMs and this AI things. So I think that there are plenty of cool things that will come with Webflow, and everything will start with education and picking the best tool for your particular niche. And also I want to add that when you will choose some tool, like it's not forever. Like you can start with Framer, you can switch after 7 months, you will get a new investment round, you will have more business, you will, like at the beginning, you know that we are not going to focus on on content. Let's start with Framer. Let's build something that will be beautiful, will work, will attract the user, will look legit. Like, don't waste your time for WordPress and all of those things, because there are better choices.
Well, like that's the good thing about Framer and Webflow both. Like, let's say you have a live website on Framer already. Behind the scenes, you can already start working on the Webflow. You can already build out everything, and then at the end, it's just a matter of connecting domain, which everybody, even with technical knowledge, can do. So, you know, it's not that complex, and you can do everything together if you really need. So.
Correct.
Cool. Before we jump into some of the wrap-up questions, I always want to have like one section in my podcast if you have anything to say about that topic. But basically, section is called "Things Nobody Says Out Loud." Like, what would you say, Brian? Like in your field, what is something that many people think and know, but nobody really talks about it enough? Anything you would call out
regarding websites, regarding Webflow, or
whatever? Like might be tooling, clients, whatever. But it's kind of a common thing that everybody thinks, but nobody really says out loudly.
So that's a very good question, because when you will talk with salespeople, they will say something different. With marketing people, they will say something different. But I would say that treating website as the cost is something that like is super deep into like clients, backbones, and they always treat it as the cost. Yeah. But I think that by the end of the day, they understand that we need that, like it can be valuable. But in the past, we had bad experiences with different agencies, different developers. We didn't have a lot of budget for creating a website. And I think that we understand, and clients understand, that it can be created better, but the positioning
but it's still the mindset shift that, website can pay off really quickly. Like, depends on the client size or like, what they're offering, but it can pay off really quickly.
If it's created in a proper way, I think that it can, but that's the thing. And also the second thing is with problem with the websites is that we use websites every day as the user, so we know everything. Like we know what is the best hero section. We know what we like, what we don't like. And it's like, with using cars, like when you have broken car, you go to the professional and you don't say like, oh, please fix this special thing. And like cars are a little bit bigger, they are, more expensive. So we are happy that someone will repair our car. The same with coming to doctor, but if you are not healthy. But with the websites, even if you go to the agency, like you are treating it very personally, especially when companies are smaller, like, and you have CEO that
maybe CEO was the one who created the first version of the website.
Exactly, and they are very connected to that personally. They want to have big logo, like I know that this is super old thing, like make our logo bigger, but still, like I feel that we understand that okay, we should give this like professionalist like open hand, like free hand to create the website, to present how they want to like build the asset for us that will be valuable, that will have positive ROI to our business, that will be like possible to use by different teams. And we understand that, but no one wants to, detached from this like very strong connection with websites. So yeah, that's probably the issue with like our issues, like as humans,
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. 3 wrap-up questions, and then we are done. What do you think? Like, what should people stop overcomplicating about their B2B websites?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Like, what should people stop overcomplicating about their B2B websites?
So more focus on communication and less focus on tool stack. And I think that, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you don't have proper communication, proper structure, if you are not navigating the user, through good pages, you have complex service. Maybe don't create one very long page about the service. Maybe divide it into few pieces and try to make the whole buying journey and education journey easier. So I think that it should be easier. And right now I see a lot of hype over tools, Framer, Webflow, vibe coding, and we are thinking like 10 steps ahead, but we are not focusing on building foundation.
Yeah, and like, yeah, that's such a good point because, you know, at the end, yes, you can build a website for the client, but their clients, they don't care what this website was built on. They care about the messaging, what are the benefits, you know, what are the features. So like I see that a lot with the conversion rate optimization that, you know, yes, you can have a fancy design, whatever tool you use, but, you know, if you're not delivering with the copy, with the messaging, the way you're approaching it, you know, design alone is not going to help. Or like you could use some fancy Webflow feature, but you know the website itself is not delivering. So what's the use?
Also, I saw on some of your videos when, because you have those videos on LinkedIn when you're, reviewing websites, product websites, SaaS websites, and you mentioned like very often that, for example, video explainer that is under the hero is such a powerful thing, and it doesn't matter if the website is built on Framer or on Webflow. Like you need to have this asset. So you need to start with creating foundation, with structure, with sitemap of the website, and to understand, okay, we need to focus on explaining our product because there are plenty of products on market. Let's focus and even maybe use this budget for, take bigger budget for creating good asset as video, good explainer, show problem, show features, and like make sure that this 1 minute video will be perfect, and then focus, if it will be Framer, Webflow, custom build, or whatever. So, I'm not saying that the decision about the tool stack should be always later, but this is just the way how you should think about maybe
it's not one and only decision they should make or you should make.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Thank you for this comment, because you mentioned it for a few times. Good video explainer can be can bring you a lot of money to the table.
Yeah. But like that's another topic probably for another podcast episode. How can you make your clients understand that, the way they should, say the messaging, explain the features. That's another big topic, and a lot of education is definitely needed on that side, to make people understand, what's the best approach, how could you do the things differently.
That's why I love your content, because you see it in the daily world, like you're responsible for the website and you know all of these things, and this is not like, oh, I'm just thinking and I just saw some research or some report that you should have like video explainers. Like, no, you check it for like million times, you have seen a lot of pages, you know what is the positive value from having this asset, maybe what is the positive value from having website in 20 languages. You already know it because you're responsible for the website. So content from like people like you is super valuable, not only for agencies, owners like me, but also for other growth like growth marketers and people. So
that's my point with those videos and that content. So appreciate the good words.
You need to move forward with that and taking more golden tips to the market.
Yeah, no, we'll do it. Maybe just quickly, AI tools, like is there already some AI tools that you have included in your process? I know you mentioned MCP already, for example, but like maybe just with a couple of sentences, how are you already leveraging AI when building the websites and with your client work?
So I would say that Claude is our assistant in everything. We have different predefined prompts to, for example, even having workshops with clients. So for example, even like using AI to prepare ourselves to do some kind of research, to analyze things before workshops, to define what kind of questions we should ask. If there is something obvious and there is something that we understand, let's don't talk about that during the workshop, but maybe there is some different angle that we don't see as humans, but AI will connect different dots. Maybe the website, sales deck, as I mentioned, the transcript from video, from sales call, and there will be something that will be worth to mention during the discovery or workshop. So Claude is helping us with those kind of brainstorming, structuring things, and also creating copy. I think that especially if you are agency from Europe and you work with clients and we are not natively speaking English, I think that is like we are always transparent. We say that we use AI for writing this content, obviously, and like we say that this is AI created content, and like you should you should take a look. We can hire external, a person that will, like native speaker that will check it, of course. But right now, in like 90% of the cases, this copy is okay. Clients from US are just tweaking small things. So this is big power up. Also, regarding the cursor, like regarding Claude, we use cursor and this MCP servers, for example, for creating CMS, for like don't spending a lot of hours to, for example, to manually paste page title, meta description, for creating alt tags, for example, for images. So there are different options how you can use MCP server for auditing your work. If your website is ready, you can, for example, write one prompt. Hey, please check if there is no broken link in our build. So like we use this MCP servers, we use Webflow API, and I think that if you like are migrating to Webflow, for example, from different platform, MCP and API can be super powerful. And even right now, we don't create collections manually. Like we have predefined prompts and create this kind of block collection, block categories collection. We need this kind of things. And even right now, because we have those predefined prompts, but also we have design, and you can create the screenshot of the design from Figma, paste it to cursor, and paste your prompt and ask the cursor to analyze the screenshot and maybe add some fields. This is the thing. And also my favorite one, creating this small descriptions of fields in CMS. So to make the experience super easy for client. Don't say like, write heading here. Please write heading here. The heading should be this kind of length. Or maybe here is, like, for example, you have image field. Please paste image that is in this ratio or maybe is compressed, and you don't need to do it manually, you don't need to do copy pasting. If you define it once, you can do it at scale for different clients, and by the end of the day, clients are not paying you for the hours that are not productive. Like you can definitely you can use the same hours to create better video explainer, to create better animation, to create better design. So I would say that Claude is super helpful, Cursor is super helpful for us. And all of this LLMs things.
Loves these examples, and I think that's the cool part about our industry, that there's so many cool things coming up and what are enabling you to do your job even better, faster, offer a better service for your customers. So yeah, love that. Last question: work you're most proud of and why? Anything you could call out here?
Okay, that's cool one, because we are a new agency, to be honest, and I believe that the best projects are upcoming. But for now, we had a few projects that had very good impact for clients. For example, we did a website migration for Polish software company called Rigby, and we migrated from custom build because they hired the first growth manager, and this person wants to have Webflow. And apart of having this whole marketing autonomy and super positive feedback, just by doing the migration and taking care of the foundations, the organic search, like the views that you have in Google, were doubled within a few weeks. So that was like we have seen super positive feedback from client, and also impact without taking care of the content itself. We migrated the same blog post, but we just take care of the foundation, prepared better structure, take care about this SEO foundations. So that's the work that I'm proud of regarding the technical point of view. Also, we had one project for go-to-market agency where we connected this Clay and Webflow thing. We created content repository. It was like a Wikipedia, like the repository about stablecoins companies, because they were focused on this industry. So we created like 300 landing pages in Clay. Like Clay was the research thing. We bring it to Webflow. We package that as the product. It was lead magnet. They get over 300 leads from that. So it was also like very impressive for us, because it was like new way to package the content into a product that is educational, that can brings value. So I think that those two projects are the most cool from my point of view because of the results, like measurable results. And still I'm waiting for the project where we will have opportunity to help client with the whole journey. Start with this foundation, create good design, and then add the Webflow on top of that. Maybe add some content repository, create the whole engine. Like this is the thing that I'm waiting for, and probably this is the thing that I will be super proud of because we just want to create the whole engine, not just a few pieces for now. So that's it.
Cool. Nice full circle moment because we started discussing how important all of the foundational part is and how we should turn more attention on it, and now we ended, you are most proud of the things where you created a really strong foundation. So I think that's a good way to end. Thanks for taking time, Brian. I love the convo. I'm going to link your website down below also to the description. I will share your LinkedIn, so if anybody is more interested to hear more about you, what you're doing, they can check it out. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks again, Brian.
Sure.
I hope it's going to be one of many podcasts we can do together because I feel that we have a lot to discuss and many different topics.
As I mentioned at the beginning, like two nerds loves websites can talk for hours. So thank you so much for the invitation. It was pleasure to talk with you, and I hope that it will be valuable for your audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.